little bit more about what's happening here in Saudi. We have the perfect person to give us the context, not just for F1, but for the ambitions of the kingdom. I'd love to welcome up to the stage His Excellency Bader Alkadi. He is the Vice Minister of Sport for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Your Excellency, come on up. Great to see you. Have a seat. All right. So, well, thank you for doing this. I know it's a very busy time going on here. It's incredible the magnitude, I think, of what we see happening here. Give us a sense from your perspective of why this is, racing pun intended, accelerating so much at this moment. What's the ambition? Where does it come from?
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me, and welcome everyone to Jeddah. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Well, Jason, as you know, the leadership of this country is leading the Saudi vision of 2030. This vision improves lives and work on quality of life among different spectrums. And we at the Ministry of Sport are leading the national sports strategy, where we focus on growing our people, opening up to the world, and investing in sport. All of this gives us a return to reinvest again in sports and grow it further.
And so the domestic ambition has been massive. I want to spend a few minutes, if we can, talking about football. We just talked a lot about racing, and maybe we'll get back to that. And obviously, that has captured the attention of a lot of people in this room. But I also know a lot of people in this room are huge football fans, and no one has been able to ignore what this massive project that you're undertaking. Help us understand this privatization that has been happening. What happens next? I mean, we've sort of seen the fruits of it so far. What's the next step?
Well, privatization is very dear to my heart as a project to start with. Basically, this project, maybe first time has been spoken about was 20 years ago. You know, with the decisions that have been made over the last, say, 16 months, with a very focused plans toward privatizing the club and opening up the league to investors from the local and the international markets. We have seen PIF investing in the top 4 clubs in Saudi in terms of popularity, but we also have other entities investing in clubs and at different stages of the or divisions of the league. I would say that we expect to have another wave of privatization coming up soon, and that gives us, you know, opportunity to make that investment we're doing in sport a sustainable investment, an investment that gives us a return to reinvest again.
And so, as you've gone through that project, because as you say, I mean, this has been your baby. I mean, you've sort of really been a chief architect of this. What has surprised you the most about it? Like, what really, as you think about these very intense last 16 months, like what surprised you?
Well, honestly, I'll tell you the appetite we have seen. Appetite from a commercial aspect, people interested to invest in this sport. Today, we can see the Saudi League broadcasted in over 160 countries. And we have a title sponsor. We have, many investors in many different ways. We're opening up as well now the naming rights of the stadiums. So as you untap or as you tap on one opportunity, it opens up another opportunity throughout the streamline of investments.
And why do you think that is? I mean, is this just... I mean, football is the most popular sport in the world. That obviously has something to do with it. But what else is sort of driving that sort of economic, almost a macroeconomic interest, as you say, across so many sectors?
As you started and said, when you said that football is one of the most, popular sports, and in Saudi in specific, football is the #1 by far as a sport, and that's why the demand is there.
Yeah.
So we're just, repackaging how the game is being played and monetized, and opening up this as an investment opportunity for everyone. And it's not only in Saudi, but the rest of the region as well is looking at Saudi and what's happening here when it comes into privatization.
And when you look at, I know everybody in this room and watching is, thinks about developing the fan base and developing, sponsorship and things like that. How are you working on that angle, especially the fans? I mean, growing the domestic league, but also, the most popular soccer teams, football teams. Sorry, I went very American there for you for a second. they are able to tap this global market. So is that by way of players? Is that by way of ownership? Like, how do you capture that broad football fan?
Well, the wave of players that have came into Saudi in the last summer was a big bang, let's say, in terms of the interest of people looking at Saudi. And I expect this to continue over the coming, waves of transfers. But we are not only focusing on attracting players to come and play in the league, but also growing our different age groups of players, investing in academies, and enhancing the experience of the fans as they come and open up for tourism. We would want to ensure that people come from abroad to come and enjoy the football of Saudi Arabia.
I'm glad you mentioned tourism because, one of the things that obviously becomes a massive catalyst for football specifically is the World Cup. We've seen this in many countries. Back in the United States, we are expecting a massive sort of soccer boom when the World Cup comes there. Tell us about the strategy around the World Cup. That's something else that you've been involved in. How important is that to sort of, to use the investment term, sort of consolidating the gains that you've made in football so far?
Well, let's remember that it's the Saudi Football Federation is the one that is leading that bid. And today, within the vision of the country of 2030, there is a huge investment been done in the all infrastructure aspects, whether it's hotels, it's airports, it's infrastructure, it's all over around. And that sets Saudi very much ready to host such a global and a big event that attracts tourism and people coming around from different parts of the world. So I think that, having the World Cup hosted in Saudi is a natural, I would say, outcome of Vision 2030 in terms of what's doing. Obviously, we are bidding. We're still at the bidding stage, and we hope that we will win the bid.
Right. And so I would be remiss if I didn't talk to you about Formula One a little bit. We literally can, as we're sitting here, I think see at least some sliver of the race course. This has, been transformative, is my understanding, for Jeddah. In the next few years, likely the Saudi Arabia GP will move to just outside Riyadh. Talk about the importance, if you can, of motorsport. We heard from the chairman earlier, His Royal Highness talking about that all of the mechanisms of that economically. What has it meant for you as you look at the sort of domestic opportunities, the sort of F1 of it all?
Well, speaking about F1 and Prince Khalid being here is, he's the guy to tell us more about it. But honestly speaking, F1 is a great sport, motorsport in general, being an industry that is competitive, it's into innovation, it's into, high entertainment and engagement of fans and so on. And yes, saying that it's transformative for Jeddah, I agree. I'm a citizen of Jeddah, and this area have transformed big time. I would quote His Excellency Ahmed Al-Khatib, the Minister of Tourism, with the first Formula One he tweeted, and he mentioned that, hotels are fully booked, restaurants are fully booked, car dealers are sold out for renting cars, and the whole city of Jeddah was just booming with what's going on. So it became an annual event, and today we see I'm avoiding phone calls for tickets and people asking for that because it's all over the place. I'm sorry for that.
And so what do you think, I was speaking obviously with Zach and Susie about this. I mean, this region has become so important to motorsports. In your estimation, knowing the sporting market the way that you do, is it because of the commercial possibility? Is it the fan possibility? Is it all of the above? Like, you sit on the other side of it than they do. What is it that is so attractive about Saudi and the region for motorsport?
Well, I think the region is attractive overall, not only on sport, not only on motorsport, but the growth that is happening on this region and the investment that has been done in the region is what's making it attractive for hosting such events and ensuring that we monetize and maximize the return on investment that we're doing in the country here.
Right. And so to that point, I'm glad you said that because, there is this sense, we have a lot of investors in this room. Sport, and we're going to talk about this later in the private equity discussion, has become, for lack of a better term, very investable. It feels like maybe it wasn't 20, 30 years ago. Does it feel like it's a good investment at this point for this country? What's the vibe?
Well, is it a good investment? My answer to you would come to look at our people. We have seen a massive increase in mass participation, triple the percentage of people active and participating in sport. Today, this part of the world, in Saudi Arabia in specific, 30 million or 20 million people are below the age of 30. Right. And that young population would want to be a healthier one and more active, enjoy the quality of life. So definitely such investments helps us in growing our people, opening up to the world, and investing in our economy.
All right, so take us inside. Give this group a little bit of a sense of what's next for the Ministry of Sport. I mean, obviously you have a lot on your plate when it comes to football, but it's not limited to football. It's not limited to Formula One. Tell us about something else that you're working on that you're especially excited about.
Well, one key project that we've been working on for years now is launching the National Sports Strategy. Okay. And that is the umbrella of everything we're doing in sports. We have more than 97 federations, and each federation has its own strategy. We have the football, where football itself has a national football strategy. So all of this together coming in a very, I would say, structured manner, fitting with the vision of 2030 toward delivering the ambitions and goals of our people.
And is there a sport that you're most excited? I mean, it's probably asking you to pick among your children.
Yeah, well, I was looking there and seeing people diving. I dive, but I've never dived in this spot before.
Really?
And that makes me excited about it.
Right, okay. And is that, I believe I saw something you did not too long ago around an America's Cup regatta, sort of preliminary regatta. That also is a big, but is that a personal and broader focus?
Well, water sports in general, being a citizen of Jeddah, is something that interests a lot of us here.
And so as you think, I want to go back to football. I can't get away from football, I'm sorry. And I know a lot of folks here can't as well. You talked about these four, you said more privatization coming. One of, I think, the key things that we're going to talk about through this day is the international and sort of institutional interest in investing in teams and leagues.
Yes.
You're seeing that? I mean, is that, tell us what you can about sort of the inbound interest for the league.
Sure. Honestly, I was very much, I would say, excited during the last FII in Riyadh, where we have seen a lot of investors from the private sector, from Europe and the US, coming and asking us about investing in clubs within Saudi. And today we have the right infrastructure to do this. Right. And I think investing in Saudi and in sport, in owning football club, is a good opportunity that is, opening up for private investors, for venture capitals and others.
Right. So this would be, just so I'm clear in the audience, so these could be institutions, these could be individuals. Correct. Who are coming in and owning stakes in domestic football clubs.
That's correct.
Interesting. And so tell us a little bit about you've mentioned infrastructure a couple times. Obviously, that is critical. Anybody who owns a sports team or candidly is a fan or a supporter of a sports team knows that's so critical to everything. Where are you in that process in terms of either rebuilding, building, overhauling the pitches and the grounds?
Yes. Well, Saudi is hosting the Asian Cup in 2027, and with that, the biggest, continental football tournament taking place here in Saudi, we are renovating a lot of the big stadiums we have between Riyadh, Jeddah, and the Eastern Province. There are also Giga projects taking place, whether it's Qiddiya, the entertainment city, or Neom, or even the south of Saudi where Abha is, and so on. That is where new stadiums are coming up and being built today, and which will be hosting and part of the bid book that will be submitting for the World Cup.
Well, this has been a fascinating conversation for me, and I'm sure the audience. I think we all know about the ambition of this kingdom and for sport, but to actually have someone who's really both you and His Royal Highness really sort of digging in and doing the work was a real treat for all of us. So I hope you get a chance, probably not this weekend, but to go diving out here at some point. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks
a lot.
Thank you, guys.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Please welcome to the stage Amanda Staveley, CEO, PCP Capital Partners, co-owner, Newcastle United FC, for a conversation with Bloomberg's Giles Turner.